how do you get Facebook to find qualified coaching prospects to click on your ad versus broke and unqualified people who can't afford your coaching? That's what we're going to talk about right now. Here's the biggest problem. A lot of coaches will try running an ad, and next thing you know, they just get flooded with people who are unqualified. They have no money. They want free stuff. They're on disability potentially. All these kinds of things. Unemployed. All that kind of stuff that surrounds that. Clearly not qualified to be able to afford your, multi-$1,000 coaching program. And a lot of these coaches have stuff in their ad that says, hey, this is only for professionals. This is only for six-figure earners. This is only for established people in, whatever life coaching, health, relationship niche, or anything that you're in. And all of a sudden, you're just getting people who are unqualified. And yet all the good stuff is on your ad. So what do? Well, let's talk about how to fix this, okay? First of all, there is a few things that I want to help you with first, because simply just changing an ad isn't going to fix the bigger problem. You have to understand how Facebook thinks and how they're reaching your people. Because if you don't understand this, how the artificial intelligence is working, then just tweaking your ad, registration page, whatever it is, it's not going to help. Changing your interest groups, for example, targeting people who are interested in, say, Louis Vuitton or something like that, not going to make any difference at all. In fact, it could probably make it worse. So what do? We need to do three things. These are three things we do. I spend roughly $1 million a year on Facebook ads for my coaching business, and then I create these videos to teach other people what we're doing and learning. So here's the three things that we do, as well as what we do and to help our clients. So the first thing you need to do is this. You need to understand how the campaign objectives work. Okay, this is very, very, very important. Here's the thing. Facebook's job from their perspective is to run ads that people get super high click-through rates, okay? So left to them, if you just do it the way they want, they're just going to run ads to people in your audience with the goal of getting a high click-through rate. Why is that? Because the higher the percentage of people who click on your ad, and the more social actions your ad gets, like likes, shares, all that kind of stuff, the more relevant it seems to Facebook. And that is a good thing, because the more relevant the ad is to Facebook, that means they're giving their users a good user experience, right? And one of Facebook's main metrics that they need to watch all the time is the amount of times people come back to Facebook every day. You remember a site probably years ago called Yahoo, right? Well, Yahoo got caught in a large part, in my opinion, with what's called banner blindness, right? It's just a junk all over the site. People just stop going there. And they're like, I just want to do a search result or whatever. I don't want all this craziness. And so they've just sort of faded away. And that's the biggest risk to Facebook's success, is people feel their ads they're seeing are unrelevant, and they leave the platform, okay? So their goal is relevancy. Now, you also want to have a high click-through percentage of people clicking on your ad, because it lowers your cost per click. But at the same time, you need to get the right people clicking. So there's a bit of a competing difference of number one priorities, right? That's Facebook's number one priority. Your number one priority is to get a high click-through rate, but it's got to be the right person. So you need to understand how the campaign objectives work. So I'm going to explain it to you right now. It's not complicated. By default, your ad account your campaign is going to be set up for traffic. And so basically, you can, do whatever you want, launch the campaign, and they're going to, by default, find people who want to click on your ad. What you need to do is you need to use a conversion objective. And what that means is you're going to tell Facebook to find people who look like the people who are registering, okay? Not clicking, because people who click are different than people who register. There's a lot of what we call happy clickers. They'll just click on anything, right? But they're never going to register. And here's what's going to happen. The more people click, Facebook's profiling these people and goes and finds more of those people. The more people register, Facebook profiles those people and go finds more of the people who look like those people, okay? So the first thing you need to always remember, change your campaign objective or the goal, the conversion objective, to webinar registrations or ebook registrations or whatever it is. We like webinars because they're a lot more, I find they're a lot of higher value. So that's what it is. So when we run our ads, somebody registers, Facebook pixels them with their AI, and then goes and finds more people like the people who registered. Okay, so it's the first thing you got to do. You got to understand how Facebook does this, because remember, if you've got an ad that says "Do not click on this ad unless you make $500,000 a year and you have a master's degree from an Ivy League school," doesn't matter. If your objective's wrong, Facebook's just going to send your ad to people who click on it, not register, because people will be like, "Oh, that's not me, but boy, I'd like that. It looks interesting." Okay. Now, the second thing you need to do is you need to understand how Facebook creates a pie slice of your campaign. This is very important, and a lot of coaches screw this up. So you're going to do the first thing, right? You're going to create a campaign that basically finds people who look like people who register. Now, here's the next thing that's going to happen, okay? Let's say you have an audience of 1 million people. So, an average size audience, not that big, not that small. So your target is 1 million people, okay? They're not going to go after all 1 million people, especially if you have a smaller budget, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 bucks a day. Even if you're on a big budget, they still are not going to go after all those people. What they're going to do, in our experience, is they're going to go after potentially 0.5% to about 1.5%. Let's just say an average of 1%. And they're going to lock in. So think of a pie, and that's a pie slice. So they're going to lock in on a pie slice of around 1%. And then what are they going to do? They're going to start showing that ad to that 1% again and again and again. They're going to keep showing it, okay, until your frequency starts to increase. It's a metric in your ad account. And so why this is important is because oftentimes they get it wrong, okay? Oftentimes they'll create a pie slice that's just bad quality, okay? So what do? Well, when we see that we got a bad pie slice, we're not going to let Facebook just waste our money and run the ad to unqualified people or maybe less qualified people than we like. We're going to pause that campaign, duplicate it, and relaunch it, try and get a different pie slice. You see what I'm doing there? And then what that's going to do is that's going to get us a different group of people that's hopefully qualified. And then remember, our hope is that people register, Facebook profiles them, finds more people who look like the people who register, and it's kind of this circular, in a way, reactor that just gets better and better and better and better over time. The more people who register, the more data Facebook has to find people who look like the people who register. They get better pie slices in the pie, and it starts to really work. So those are the first two things you need to do, because here's the problem. Most coaches don't do either of those things, and they only focus on the messaging, or they try a different lead magnet, and they try the tactical stuff. But if you don't have the strategic stuff set up, nothing tactical that you do is going to fix anything. It's just going to be garbage, okay? Now, before we get to the third thing, I need you to do two things. First thing I need you to do is click subscribe. What I want to do, somewhere around here, there's a subscribe button. I just want you to click on it because I have a number of videos coming down the pipeline in production, and they're all about getting clients and coaching, growing your coaching business and stuff like that. And I don't want you to miss out on any of them. They're free, and I think they have a lot of value to help you. And you never know, one or two of them might be the one exactly the thing you need to help get your business to the next level. So make sure you click subscribe so you can get notified of my upcoming videos. Number two, click the like button so I know you like this video so that I can get you more of them. All right, third thing we need to do, we need to give them the right messaging, give Facebook the right messaging to use for targeting, okay? The right messaging is the most important thing once we do the other thing. So here's the myth a lot of coaches believe, and I already touched on it. They believe that audiences will fix everything, okay? They believe that if they use the income targeting, if they target, whatever, people who like like $1 million houses and people who all these, that was like a few years ago, okay? It still helps, but the vast majority of your success is going to come from the messaging. How does that work? Well, it's very simple, and I've talked about this in numerous other videos I have. You absolutely have to be repelling the wrong people from your ad, and you strategically have to do it so that when they're scrolling, they don't even want to click on it. They just keep scrolling, just keep going, and they don't on their phone, and they don't even think about it. So how does that work? Well, first of all, you want to make sure you don't use super clicky images like dogs and cats and stuff like that that everybody identifies with, because what's going to happen is people who are not qualified are going to see that and be like, oh, I have a cat like that too, and they're going to start commenting, and you're going to get more people who like the same cat or like the same dog, and that kind of thing, and this is going to create a whole disaster, all right? And you're going to get all kinds of clicks from people who are not even qualified, but you're like, I got a high click-through rate. High click-through rates don't make, qualified clients, okay? So that's what you got to remember first of all, okay, with that imagery. The second part of this is what you need to do is when you qualify people, you need to make sure that you're disqualifying before qualifying, and how you disqualify is you're basically talking to your ideal client in a way that makes the people you don't want to reach not want to click, right? So you have to get specific. We get specific, like professionals, people who are working 50, 60 plus hours a week, educate people with master's degrees. Are you a person with a master's degree and you have all this experience and you're doing this? Are you somebody who's working 60 hours a week and you're frustrated with this problem in your professional life? You're making $250K a year and it's still, you're more miserable than you were at $50K a year. You see what I'm doing? We're hooking in messaging. It doesn't matter if it's life coaching, health coaching, relationship coaching, business coaching, and we're trying to go deep on what our qualified person would be thinking and say it in a way that if somebody's unqualified, they're just going to be like, that's not me. I'm not interested in that, right? And so that's how you do that, because it's going to make it easier versus certain people will say, like, do not click on this ad if you are this type of person. Well, that just makes them mad, and then they're just going to click on it anyways. So try those three. Try that, what I just said with the messaging. Understand how the pie slice works on Facebook, and make sure you're using the right conversion objective, okay? And then see how it goes. And at least it gives you some optimization strategies, and test it, and then keep testing and refining as you go, all right? So again, click the like button, subscribe, and in the bottom there should be a pinned post, comment post. I have an upcoming webinar on the 300-word ad template, and as well as the snowball system we use to attract coaching clients using Facebook ads. I think it's going to really help you a lot. I've spent, as of this recording, since January of 2022, about $2.8 million on Facebook ads. I want to share with you what I've learned, and hopefully it's going to help. So click the link in there and get registered for that up and coming webinar. See you there.